Hello everyone, welcome. What is up? Welcome to the stream. I am D2, actually joined by a co-caster for the first time in a long time. Well, at least on this tournament anyway. What's up, Dominic? How's it going? We are with the VanSticker War of Gods tournament in the finals with BMG versus LiPang, the two top teams in this thing.
And it's going to be pretty exciting. BMG has been just absolutely tearing up a storm, taking out basically everyone they're up against. And LiPang, very similar to themselves, only going down to BMG during the round robin series.
Yeah, absolutely. And you don't expect anything less from BMG, the team who not only won the North American region, but also beat all comers, or not all comers, but the top comers from Latin America and Europe as well to earn the AW spot from all of the West, basically. So you expect them to win this, but I've been pretty impressed with some of these teams, and I think if nothing else, then BMG has had some really nice practice here.
And it's good for them too, with the World Cup coming in. Well, that's going to be a huge leap for them, because like right now, this is practice. They're getting in, and a lot of the teams, it feels like BMG has been very comfortable. They've been in their element, but then, come Vietnam, it's going to be an interesting shift. So I hope this practice helps them.
Yeah, and LiPang, I would say that if they were in the Valor Series, I would expect them to actually have gotten second place to BMG. So you can kind of look at this as the Valor Series Finals #2 in a way.
Yeah, the Valor Series North America Finals for people. I mean, that's fair. A's Hero, what? They were on.
Yeah, I mean, so Triumphs. Okay, let's look at the roster. Triumphs was on the original BMG before they basically just tossed everyone and picked up what was Pride Stark. 80s Hero has bounced around the top teams in NA, whether it was Immortals, whether it was I believe it was Tribe. And so yeah, he's been around basically all the top teams. Basically the first or second best team. Marcus is a newcomer, but he certainly burst on the scene as one of the better DS lanes. And then LiPang, the guy who the team is named after, the only guy with the Chinese name, which makes it difficult for some of our Western viewers to understand who we're talking about. But he's the guy with the Chinese name.
The only Chinese characters is LiPang.
Yeah, so he actually is #2 Conqueror on the server. And normally those top Conqueror spots are reserved. There's a nice little red velvet seat there for BMG, so he is definitely usurping one of those spots. And yeah, it's very impressive, and their team is definitely one to be feared, if not, well, feared by most teams. Maybe not BMG.
Yeah,
but.
BMG, we did see have a bit of an easier time yesterday, but I'm trying to remember if yesterday LiPang had the exact same roster as today. Like, this LiPang roster is the LiPang roster that they were playing in the first day.
Yeah.
I think this is their comfort roster.
I think Joker has been in and out, but
yes.
Yeah, I think they have like Zune or something. I don't know. They've had basically the same roster in like the PVL tournament that I cast yesterday as well. Which, by the way, they won. So they after BMG won the first qualifier, LiPang won the second qualifier. So again, they are at this point pretty much solidifies the top two teams.
Absolutely. Although at the same time, BMG also has their full roster this entire tournament, or at least the days I've been able to cast. Zane was not available. So
right.
Finally here.
It's we're finally able to get Zane get him to wake up for one thing, and it just took the second best team in NA. He's like, that's good enough practice for me. I will wake up for that one. I've deemed them worthy.
Wake up at 7 or 10 in the evening.
Yeah.
Or whatever time it is.
For he's we all know he has the heart of a 70-year-old woman, so he just goes to bed at like 8 p.m. and he's like, gotta say it for this one.
You say that, but my step grandmother stays like when she was dating my grandfather, they stayed late until like 1 in the morning. So I don't know what old women you're talking to, because the ones I know have all the energy in the world.
Maybe Zane and your grandmother just kind of switch bodies or switch hearts or switch
schedules. That might have been the case.
Anyway, we actually have an entire draft going on through all of this. Surprises for me have been Yina, although I don't know what the bans have been for the past couple of days. Perhaps you've been seeing Yina in the ban phase, but
I'd say pretty close to 100% banned pick, but there have been a few times where she wasn't picked. Sorry, wasn't banned.
Well,
And
that's
she tended to be
interesting.
a very strong point choice.
Well, that's interesting because when LiPang was playing yesterday, they did not ban her once. So they this time they decide they're gonna ban her out because they know that BMG is certainly capable of playing her, and if anyone's capable of playing her, it's going to be KO or Neo, whomever would be playing in those side lanes. So yeah, the Teamy ban wasn't weird. The Caffeine Hot Tub ban wasn't weird either. They start off
meta.
with yeah, they start off with the Lindisk, which is kind of a semi-ban taking away from Zane, and then coming back with Tulin Florentino. That's perfect. That's as balanced standards as you can get, and then followed up by basically the top styler in the game outside of Florentino, which is Richter, and then Baldum, who is one of the top supports and the top support outside of Teamy, and then Thomas. Basically as standard as you can get in the first 6 picks. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Baldum is a bit of a pick as well as a ban, just because Beginnings is such a strong Baldum player. So much like with getting Lindis away from Zane, they're getting Baldum away from Beginnings alongside Teamy.
Yep. So in this ban phase, Mage is taken away here from LiPang, and we have Assassins taken away here from BMG. I would imagine that BMG's last pick is going to be something like a Lumber, because he's one of the better babysitters these days, and Beginnings does seem to prefer him. But as I say that, Thane pops up on the screen, and he's got a big butt. Whenever I think of Thane, I think of his big butt and how he likes to throw it around. He's very hard to kill when he's low. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a big sack of meat, but that's sometimes all you need.
Yeah.
And King's Glory is strong. And wait, Crixie? No. Don't taunt me, Marcus.
Well, he's taunting his mage as well by doing this. But so one of the things I've been saying is that part of the reason why Tulin has been so dominant as of late is because he hasn't had to deal with Liliana and Raz. And I think that this is... I feel like a lot of players across the world have just happened upon this strategy of picking Tulin, and it's worked every single game, so like let's keep doing it. But I don't think they realize why, and I think I've come across why, because Tulin will absolutely style on all of these situational mages that teams pick, and teams have been opting for the situational mages over things like Liliana and Raz because they are better in the particular situation of that game. Pray to L'Oreal. We might have a regame. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
No.
I mean, when is the last time we even saw Preda? Yeah, there's something.
Well, Marcus was hovering the Preda, so I think they were going for that. The Preda might have been deliberate. The L'Oreal was not even picked. It was just kind of locked in because they ran out of time. So, not sure if that was intentional.
I mean, they might just decide to go for it. Just double mage in there with L'Oreal being half jungler and then or half assassin and then just go.
Well, Lindis would be in the jungle. Okay, this might actually be a thing, but
I don't see it. I mean, where does Prey fit in? If L'Oreal's up front dealing the damage, like,
Prey's in the back.
On there?
Prey is in the back. L'Oreal's in the front. This is where I throw out my tier list, which I just released, and there's, if you include tier SS, there are 6 tiers, right? SSS 1 2 3 4. Preda is tier 4 and L'Oreal's tier 3. So I know I don't want to. That's basically what I think of those heroes right now. Right towards the bottom. Bottom 10% both of these heroes. So
because remember there was a time when both Preda and L'Oreal were the go-to mages a year or so ago.
Okay, L'Oreal for an extended period of time was the #1 mage, which actually contributed to why I think, and still contributes to why people have a hard time lowering their opinion of her, because there's this imaginary baseline for L'Oreal. Like, she has to be at least this good because in the past she was the best.
And not only that, if you're halfway decent with her in lower, like, gold, platinum ranked games, up to even, you can do a lot of damage.
Yeah. The problem is her damage was contingent upon popping her ultimate and getting a few cycles of the wheel and blink off, and that allowed her passive to explode on multiple heroes. She actually does better against multiple heroes. She'd rather face 2 than 1, which is weird, and why she was so powerful. And the problem is, these days, she can't even get, like, 2 instances of those abilities off before she just dies. And not only that, but it takes her much longer to get to the point where she can actually kill people. Preda was never really one of the top mages. He never really was in the conversation for top mage. He was always like the fallback pick. Whenever there was like whenever okay, yeah, something weird happened. Was this?
I don't know. Maybe someone disconnected during the draft phase.
Is yours frozen as well?
No.
Mine, I'm out.
They just surrendered.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I figured they surrendered, but nothing. There's no message showed up. So.
I just saw the core explode, and then we're onto the results screen.
Yeah. Well, the core explodes so quickly that it froze. But anyway, well, I'm out of there, so we're good. So that had to be a mistake.
So it's not just me having the technical problems with Nox and OBS combined.
Oh yeah, and then
I played Nox with OBS all the time, so I don't know.
And then as Yikes in chat's pointing out, they didn't have a jungle item, so that was
Yeah, no, that makes total sense.
So
I mean, you could see Linus wasn't even swapping characters around. That usually is a good sign that we're getting a regame.
Yep. And we got our next lobby in. Hopefully things are okay. So Joker did indeed DC, and they're saying they wanted to pick Roxy instead of L'Oreal. Okay.
That's a much more reasonable pick, although it still doesn't explain the Preda.
Yeah, I mean, well, you could tell that they were hovering the Preda for a while, so it was indicative of them, think that being a deliberate pick.
Right.
But
that makes sense by behavior. I
don't
do with Preda.
What?
I kind of want to see what LiPang has in mind. If they spent all that time going through a bunch of different mages and then ended up on Preda, do they have a plan?
I think they do have a plan. I think it's going to fail, is what I'm saying right now. And hopefully that.
Yeah, but I want to see that plan fail valiantly. I want it to be a glorious failure, or a success. That works too.
I don't. Okay, what would you call a glorious failure? Like winning, or like the going to like 40 minutes and then they barely lose or something.
Something like that, yeah. Give BMG a run for their money.
So, as in my long-winded explanation, because I'm not capable of doing anything less than long-winded, I was talking about how Tulin basically beats... Okay, let me start from the beginning, since we have an entire like mock draft in order to go through this. A few months ago, it was the top 3 mages, or maybe, actually, not even 3 months ago, like half a year ago. It was, you always picked, like, Tulin, Liliana, Sephira, Raz. Those were, like, the 4,
yep.
Or, like, maybe someone else. And then a lot of times, like...
Brief time, but otherwise no.
Yeah, and so Sephira was good against all those people. Tulin mains were sometimes stubborn and were like, no, Tulin beats Sephira, but I thought the opposite. I thought that Sephira beat Tulin. Anyway, that aside, they're just the most dynamic, most flexible mages. They can all, at least Liliana and Raz, can both poke and dive, and be kind of super mobile, and really fulfill what your team needs. What people realize is instead of going for a flexible all-around mage, that they'd rather just have mages who are super specialized, right? Like Quali can just poke for days, or you could have someone like Jinnar who can like jump on top of you or something like that. So and recently it's been like Alistair and like Illumia as well in like Thailand, for instance, where Illumia has gained a lot of traction. But
yeah, we saw Alistair a few days ago too, and that was absolutely amazing. The trap play.
Oh, really? Okay. So, anyway, the point is, there's these situational mages. And so, it kind of went around back the other way in a circle, because Tulin completely demolishes all those mages. Right? All the situational ones.
Yep.
He has a harder time against things like Liliana and Raz. So, my hypothesis is that people just love Tulin so much, they kept picking him. And they don't really know why he's good. And I think that I've come upon the reason why. I think because he's so much better against these situational mages. And I think that if people just kind of realized this, then they would just not try to go for
Or
strange.
Tulin.
Or they wouldn't. The people going against Tulin wouldn't try to force a strange response to it, like going super backline wave clear hero like Preda. They would go for more of something to match him, like a Liliana. By the way, 80s hero is on Preda, and I have to. It should be mentioned that in my Twitter, he responded to my tier list saying Preda tier 4 exclamation point no oh. So maybe he's just sticking it to me. This might be just trying to teach me how
show
good.
You. It's
Yeah.
like, this is how Preda do. Like, okay, but we were just talking about how Tulin's passive in particular is amazing at situational mages because they basically have no way out of it or way to heal.
Yeah.
The way that Lily, Raz, and Seth do. So they're kind of screwed.
Yep. And A's hero already missed his first Plague Spectre, so not off to a good start.
Yeah, apologies. I did actually crash again because this game sometimes.
Okay, well, I'll use the
So you
power
have to cover this.
of my illustrative voice to tell you what's going on. Casey Fox takes a big Plague Spectre to the face from 80s hero. What will he do next time on Dragon Ball Z? Anyway.
Probably kill him with Thunderbird.
Maybe. Well, he does have a full passive, just kind of sadly spinning around circles and doesn't get any damage off.
Aw.
Oh, it's so very sad. Should I try to share screens with you or something?
Might help. I just need to get knocked a little bit. I don't know why it's doing this, honestly. Do you have yours maximized?
I have mine maximized. I don't have it full screen.
Okay, same. Not sure what's going on then. And
Okay.
I didn't touch a thing.
Anyway, while we were talking about that, First Blood did go over to BMG as KO on Florentino, got LiPang on the Roxy low, and then there was rotation to finish her off. And now BMG is rotating here over to the Abyssal lane. How close are you two reconnecting?
I don't know. I got to the reconnect screen again, but there's no single player that's going from 0 to 100%.
Oh, well.
I'm actually a little worried that everything's just breaking now.
Okay, well, I'm going to... Hold on. Let's have this Abyssal Dragon fight real quick. Triumph's taking a lot of damage from Neo on Talanas. 5 members of BMG in the area. They really want to get this dragon, especially if there's a fight that breaks out. They do get the dragon, trying to turn onto Joker now. Gets a nice ult onto Triumph. Triumph goes down to Neo after the Thunderbird came out from KZ Fox, and they get a second kill there. Okay, I'm just going to hover on KZ Fox, and then... So if I miss anything, guys, it's we can blame KZ Fox for not being in the action. All right, let's see. Turn on screen share, stream. Ooh, it's like right there. Stream Nox player.
Oh yeah, no, this is great. Discord is really cool for this.
All right, can you see?
I will in a sec. Yep, we're good. Let's go.
Awesome.
Right,
Okay.
so apologies in advance. There's a slight delay. I'm not sure what the delay is in screen share.
Why?
Oh, because... Oh, for the play-by-play.
Oh.
Speaking of which, LiPang actually running into some problems over in the top lane, and... Well, forced retreat. Get the 2v1.
By the way, LiPang has one of the most bizarre Roxy builds, and he's the #1 Roxy on the server, so it's hard for me to argue with him, but he basically goes straight into Hegady's item, and I don't even know what to talk about that.
Well, what to talk about here, though, is Neo going down immediately in the bottom lane, and Beginning's trying to deal with this, but so far, Wild Prison does find purchase. However, Casey Zane coming in to save the day. Marcus goes down, and for all that, one BMG dead, 2 off on LiPang, and that opens up the bottom tower.
You know, Marcus was going to die anyway, but I still was mightily impressed by the retaliate to deny the Thunderbird, because that was absolutely beautiful.
Very well timed there, so that's giving KZ Fox a bit of a hard time.
Yeah, well, not hard enough, unfortunately, if you are on Team LiPang, because they still have a 4-1 advantage and nearly 1,000 gold lead.
And that's sort of the thing I've noticed. Like, BMG, as I was saying before, they are amazing at macro, and that's always the thing. They just get that gold lead, and it almost doesn't matter if their opponents get a tactical victory once or twice. BMG has just been playing the entire game, all the waves, all the jungle creeps, both sides, making sure to get every single dragon, as they are right now. Neo just taking that.
Yeah.
No contest.
Yeah, they've been really good about the rotations, especially on the Abyssal Dragon, and they're so good at it, and they just come with overwhelming force to take the Abyssal Dragon. Normally, I don't like to see 5 people rotate, but because they rotate as 5, they get it so quickly, and there's no dilly-dallying around. There's no like, are we gonna take it? Are we not? They just do it, and they figure if there's any contention, we just kill them, right? And that's
what they've done.
Yeah, and that's the power of bringing all 5. I think this is what they're going to try to do for the AWC matches as well. Just try to get the situations like this where they kind of throw the other team off guard by having that full 5-man rotation. And it's tough to do. It's tough to time it out where you get even your Dark Slayer laner coming all the way down.
It is, but BMG has proven to be an expert team at that exact play, because that is something that we see come out from them all the time. And I'm actually kind of curious when it comes to the AWC, because my understanding is that the style of play there is very much that style of play, the roaming style with all 5 stack.
Yeah, absolutely. That was actually really strange, because right as Triumphs came with the wild charge, Zane dashed away, and it didn't really properly come through. I guess because there was a wall there, he couldn't really get pulled and plucked over the wall. But weird.
Yeah. It almost seemed like LiPang just dropped it after that point. It's not sure if they're confident they can actually go in. At the same time, LiPang themselves is actually very confident going in the back lane, but getting torn to pieces. Zane KO and KZ Fox just destroying them for complete punish for a bit of an overextension.
Yeah, trying to cut the wave was LiPang there, and that's just typically what you do. Oh, okay. There's a return kill. Sorry, my observation skills are really, really bad.
Another run as well. Joker Smurf goes down on top of that. So return kill was on Neo, but Joker Smurf as another revenge. BMG still in a 3v or 4v3 situation, which is very common.
Yeah, it seems like LiPang is trying to be hyper aggressive on multiple parts of the map. So even if one person gets caught, then they still have someone just taking out monsters on the opposing side of the field. Unfortunately, BMG's been really good at rotating, so they ended up getting a 2-for-1 kill even throughout all of that madness going on.
Yeah, I will give LiPang credit though. Look at the gold scores, 1.4k difference. LiPang, despite the fact that they are behind on kills and behind on towers, has actually not towers on dragons. They have actually been holding on reasonably well macro-wise.
Right.
That's against BMG too. No small feat.
Right, and what they're doing is because they're being so aggressive with their rotations, it's not allowing BMG to capitalize on any of these kills. But we do have a 3v4 up top or on the bottom.
Oh, going under tower though. Wild Prison coming in there does manage to catch one. Actually, does manage to catch beginnings on people because that, ironically, and that leads to beginnings going down on top of Neo. Off the back of that, Zane and KZ Fox forced retreat behind tower.
That was all Marcus there. He dove upon Neo directly. And, I talked about Thane being extremely tanky, but Marcus just circumvents all of it. He says, I don't care what your tankiness. I'm going straight for the juicy core of Neo. And oh, does it taste so good.
And in fairness, though, to beginnings, Thane does rely quite a bit on their item builds. And we're 20k in. The build isn't too bad. But it's still...
Oh, hello.
I mean, if you look at that, they only have a couple pieces of armor and boots and a support item. So they aren't quite there with HP yet.
KO is below 2 towers.
And going for the kill. Just, why not? Because Florentino, I guess. Although Marcus wants to make that not happen, and there they go. Marcus getting that revenge, but that's still a 2v3. BMG with the advantage, taking that center tower. Gets a clean tower kill. And opens up the next one possibly, though. With the respawns coming in now, Joker Smurf should be able to come in. 80 will soon follow. But that won't save the bottom tower unless Marcus is able to clear this last bit of wave. And they do go for it, but at a great risk. Still managed, though.
Yeah,
no, they don't. Nope. Ah.
Yeah, I mean, the tower's going down. Marcus, he tried to put some token pressure or token resistance there, but wasn't able to make it happen. He does have amazing timings on his retaliate, though. Never get hit by a Thunderbird, is Marcus.
Well, that's exactly what they need to do.
Abyssal?
And also on top of that, Abyssal being locked down, but KZ Fox able to take it. Unfortunately, did not lead to LiPang being able to get in. Weren't able to actually grab anyone, I guess, with that.
Yeah, that was actually perfect timing by Triumphs. They had like 100 HP left, but wasn't able to steal it out in the end.
Unfortunately, though, Marcus does get the revenge push on KZ Fox. Not quite a kill, though. KZ Fox recalling.
Let me see the dead body of Florentino. Rest in purple peace.
Alas, poor Marcus.
You were
Wait,
so
no,
fabulous.
still alive.
No, that was KO. KO died to Joker up
I'm
and
dead.
over there. It was off screen. Don't worry. It does leave the.
Alas, poor Marcus. Eventually.
They did get the DS
Actually, I don't know.
they did get the Dark Slayer though. So just stole it right under BMG's nose. Now LiPang.
Yeah, LiPang is doing a good job. Like, so far, what we were talking about during draft phase when it came to a Valiant failure, like, LiPang is definitely dragging the game out of it and getting to the point where they're not falling behind too far. If they lose, I'd say it will be a Valiant effort. And I'm actually not sure how this is going to go because, again, they're maintaining no more than, like, 1.5k gold disparity between the two teams.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. BMG is pushing down over in the bottom here. And I don't know if they're going to be able to push onto this. This is one of the strengths of having Preda, is since he has a backline mage, he can clear the way fairly well, and that means that they can't really push in. But
that's matter for Marcus, though, trying to go for those retaliates, but not quite managing enough. Wild Prison coming in there to save them. Unfortunately, only takes out 2 of the opponents, but KO will at least go down, or at least will be pushed back. At the same time, KZ Fox fighting out LiPang and completely eliminates them. So free kill for BMG.
Yeah, that is the issue with Roxy having no magic defense at the moment. Guy standard a little bit late for them.
Like you said, it was a bit of an odd build coming out from LiPang. And it seems like a very late game oriented build as well.
It's a very I will kill you, I will one-shot you build. But if he misses the Agni's Grasp, then he's not going to be able to deal as well with the opponent as he normally would.
And that is a problem, of course. If you miss the Agni's Grasp, then it's like you're way out in the open, and we see already KZ Fox is just ready for that every time that happens. There's really not a whole lot that's going to happen, especially against BMG. I mean, they do have the micro skills to deal with it.
So
as they're showing right now.
Yeah, Beg's passive did get popped there, so he's not very tanky anymore, trying to hold off. And multiple heroes, or one hero goes down, and they're going to try to make this happen, but really, they're holding on by a thread.
Yeah, KZ Fox does go, or sorry, KO does go down. Drake does at least get a tower, so a little bit evening out, but the gold lead is starting to really go BMG's favor in the meantime, as we are seeing BMG roam a bit less, start to clear wave a bit more. It does mean that it's a bit harder to win this fight, but still 80-0 on Triumph, so close to death. What?
The minions?
I guess.
I was looking at the minimap. I was got just shit over here. By the way, that's what happens.
Alright, yeah.
Although I don't think
there. I was a little soon on that call.
Okay, so I was gonna say, like, there's the Agni's Grasp, and there's where it became fruitful, but I don't think he needed Agni's Grasp to finish off that kill with Joker there. I mean, excuse me. I don't think he needed Hegarty's Diadem. I don't think he needs such a damage-focused build to finish off that kill.
Although it may come to bite them right now as Zaynab begins going after LiPang, and LiPang's way out of position. And that indeed is... Oh, never mind. The Agni's Grasp actually coming in to do the job. Gets them out of there, just barely.
Yeah. Joker did go down in the end, though. So, at the end of the day, at the end of the Drake, we have a somewhat even tower situation, though BMG has the advantage of having this tower here, which allows them to kind of retreat to this tower if anything goes awry in the Dark Slayer area, which they're trying to take right now. Triumph's
waiting there for the Wild Prison. There's the Wild Prison. Comes in a little bit too late.
Yeah.
Takes out Zane, but not the Slayer.
Yeah, the issue is if you're too early, then it doesn't really do enough damage to kill it. So, the valiant effort, but it was not to be. Marcus? Marcus? Is there a retaliate? No! Marcus 3v1. Oh, Marcus.
KO.
KO's turn. KO's turn to go 1v3. Oh my goodness!
Trying to, getting in there and actually winning the 1v, well, turning to a 4v3, turning that into a win, taking out Triumphs. That's 2 more towers down for free.
That could be GG. I mean,
think it could be.
LiPang, he's trying to hold this off, but I don't know if he can. And they have plenty of damage on the towers with Neo. If they just distract LiPang long enough, then they can take these towers.
Yeah, I mean, LiPang can't recall, can't walk back directly, is dead, or just about to be. And the rest of the team is going to be at least 8 seconds left for a recharge. Yeah, there's the Drake coming in there just to help out that last little bit to take out the core, and there we are. Game 1 goes to BMG.
GG.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was 14 minutes, which is actually a fairly long game and a fairly even game. So I will say that, well, they didn't win. LiPang did put up a good fight. Like, that was a valiant effort.
Yeah. See, my issue was that I'm not sure. Well, let's take a look at the stats here. 80s Hero. I'm just staring at 80s Hero just because he challenged me with his Prey to pick, and we're gonna see how it panned out. 20% damage as 80s Hero. That's just not gonna get it done because 80s Hero is typically one of the carries on their team, and if he's not showing off that carry potential, then it's not gonna work out for them. Anyway.
Yeah, that is unfortunate.
We hold 80s Hero to a higher standard than that, than just being okay.
Yeah, then just losing after dragging things out a little bit against BMG. Like, but we'll see what they go for. I mean, we kind of got a bit of a demonstration of what you were talking about, D2, when it came to Preda.
He just, well, the problem is all he was able to do was play defensively. And if you're going to do that, then you could just pick Alistair, you could pick Preda. Oh, no, you could pick Kali.
Yeah. Alistair would be a really good pick. Kali would be an awesome pick.
The thing is,
even Crixie would work, honestly.
Yeah, well, my thinking is that instead of just losing outright to the Tulin and having to play defensively, and sitting there for an eternity for every single Plague Spectre, you could just match him because you're 80s Hero and you're good at the game. So just pick, you know, Liliana or something like that.
Yeah, just do the thing.
Honestly, I think that people... There's a bit of a misconception where Tulin is doing so well against the situational mages, and Liliana and Raz are not quite as good against them because it's harder for them to get on top of them. And they just, you know, the wave clear is, you know, kind of superior for those situational mages. And Liliana doesn't have, you know, her Fox form until level 4, so she's not able to dominate the early game like Tulin can. And so I think that there's this kind of false conclusion drawn where they believe that Liliana is, like, will lose to Tulin, but no, it's a rock, paper, scissors situation, and they're both rock. They just... I don't know.
Different flavors of rock.
Yeah, different flavors of rock. One flavor is good against situational mages. Anyway, it's like, I guess it's like Warcraft, right? Where there's 4 races. And there's 2 extra ones, but they're not necessarily good or bad against the other ones.
Oh, like a hypothetical Warcraft 3, because I mean, we're talking about actual Warcraft 3. The 4 races do different things. Although, getting into the bans, though, Tulin is being taken out by BMG. Actually, something I've noticed. I was going to ask you about this, since I imagine you'd know better. I've noticed that oftentimes the winning team tends to take out key characters that they had, even when they get first pick. Is that just because their opponents get 2 picks? Or what?
Yeah, it's just the mentality, right? Like, we dominated with that, so we don't want them to have it.
Okay.
Like, we can't let this through kind of thing. It happens a lot. I am just as perplexed by it as you are, because it happens even more often, I would say, in the international matches. So.
Huh. Yeah, I guess that's a thing then, because again, you get people picking the first, but there's Yina being not banned out, so I guess that makes sense. If they want Yina, I mean, they can choose who to ban, and then they just take the really strong character. So yeah.
Yeah, and they give away Teamy, but they have the option for Baldom anyway.
Okay, seriously, BMG, are you just trolling now?
Mina's not bad. I think they're going in a different direction here.
Okay, because I've heard conflicting things about Mina. Like, I personally like Mina. She's my favorite tank to play. But at the same time, it's one of those characters that you hear mixed things about.
Well, they heard mixed things too, apparently. So they're gonna go with Baldom.
I mean, that's what I would expect, considering beginnings. But then the question is the second pick. Oh, hoping we don't get another disconnect this time.
The thing is, at this point, Baldom is kind of he's basically a more tanky Mina. With a better setup. And better,
and an easier way of locking people down.
Kinda.
Like, Mina has to get hurt to lock people down and be near them. Baldom just has to hit with a Wild Prison.
Right. Well, Wild Prison can be kind of clunky to use, whereas Dark Dominion, you hit it and it's instantaneous. I don't know. I don't think that Baldwin necessarily has an advantage in his ult. I've never thought his ult. I mean, his ult has gotten like kind of altered a couple times, but I never really thought his ult was the greatest. I think that basically Wild Charge is the best pick move or best pick like setup in the game.
I feel like the two work together fairly well because both of them are set up around making sure that your opponent doesn't have as many people available to fight.
There's also the thing that if you have someone on top of your back line, then Mina can kind of displace them a little bit and slow them, but Ballum he knocks them up into the air and in the completely opposite direction. So he's just like, no, you stay away, sir, or ma'am.
Yeah, and that is the thing, because that's the thing that's really hard with Mina, is the fact that she has to be in the right position and can often end up setting up a better fight for the opponent if she pulls in just the right way. But also Richter coming in, which is, again, no surprise. A lot of this, to me, feels very much like it's what you go for. The Zill pick is a little more unique, though. Was banned out, we saw by LiPang last game, and that will likely be for good reason as we'll see this game.
We have some information in chat. Apparently, Neo has 2,000 games on Yina. That's obviously coming from...
in the last 3 days?
No,
wow.
that's from KOG.
Oh,
obviously.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, or maybe on other servers. Maybe
right,
he played on Taiwan.
North America gets it last.
Not always, but usually.
Oh, right. What was the one exception? Like Florentino, I think?
Yeah, something like that. And he apparently also, in 60 games on NA, has a 98% win rate. So that's like one loss.
Yeah, so...
Yeah. It's interesting to see what will happen, though, because Neo is typically their Abyssal lane player. Mm-hmm. So, will they opt to go for a marksmanless comp? Will they play a marksman mid? Because they do have a mage in the jungle, so that allows them the opportunity to just go for a marksman mid. Maybe pick up a Tel, which we've seen Tel mid before. And maybe they go Yina in the Abyssal, and then, DS laner in the DS lane.
I always thought of Yina as a DS laner, though. That's always
that's what I'm saying.
Used.
That's what I'm saying, though, because we're talking about Neo on Yina, and Neo is typically their Abyssal laner. That's why I'm bringing up the question.
Right. And that's... I feel like that's not going to matter too much, though. The way that BMG's been playing, very roam-oriented style, it's one of those things that feels like it'll matter for brief periods, maybe, but not much at all.
I like this Tel pick because it's kind of a ban. Tel would have been a beautiful mid pick here because she can clear the wave and not really get into trouble. Now they're looking at things like Yorn, and it kind of gets dicey with who they pick for their mid marksman. Typically, the best mid marksmen are Hayate and Tel, and they're both taken away. It does give LiPang 2 marksmen, but that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, Lindis is playing jungle, so it's not likely a big problem. And we're getting... What are we... Are we just not going to have a marksman? We're just not going to have a marksman on BMG, apparently. Just Lily Zenial. Just go for tank, support, bunch of mages. Yina's the marksman now.
Yeah. Well, in a way, their quote-unquote marksman is the combination of Zill and Liliana. The damage that comes from them. So they have enough damage to kill people. It just comes in a weird package.
It's going to be interesting to see how that works, but we've seen how well coordinated BMG is. I can't imagine it's going to be a problem.
Right.
LiPang, on the other hand, I'm really thinking about them, though, because they got a fairly strong setup. I mean, they have Telenos in the mid, they have Teamy, just full stop. And they have Zephyr for providing extra control, along with Richter just to get in the way.
The one thing, so BMG, team fight wise, I think that either of these comps are capable of winning team fights just in general. Where the big weakness for BMG is that they really can't take down towers unless there's like no one guarding them, or they just completely brute force it. Whereas double marksman on the side of LiPang, they can easily take down towers. So they're gonna have to really play around that. like I mentioned, either just win team fights very convincingly, or they completely just brute force all 5 dive and make it just jump on them and make it happen.
Just instant invade.
Yeah.
Go in. They were up a game, so forget it.
Well, I'm kind of
they can lose 2 times and it's fine.
Yeah, I'm just predicting for when it comes to like the 12-minute mark or so, where they're gonna have to start forcing the issue, or else they're never gonna win the game, kind of thing.
Right, and that is more what I expect. We saw last game that LiPang, with the composition they had with the Prada, which we weren't really sure about, was still able to hold on for 15 minutes and make it not too uneven of a game. Like, it was not a stomp.
Yeah.
So when you consider that now the compositions are a bit more even, and LiPang has a great tower poke strategy, especially when you consider that one of the biggest assets that BMG had was their tower difference, I do think LiPang is going to be holding on for some time, if not winning.
Yep. We do have a bit of a throwback matchup in mid. And by throwback, I mean like earlier this year, between Sephira and Liliana. Liliana has a slight edge, but not a massive one.
Not before level 4, at least. Now, Wall of Water being used very nicely, too. Still, though, it looks like overall BMG is kind of playing a little more passively.
Yeah, I don't
expected.
Yeah, I didn't really expect him to do anything too crazy. But once Zane gets 4 here, we'll see what he's able to do. But the Seagull can get away his positioning, and that's unfortunate because they did have a 4-man rotate coming over that now amounts to nothing.
And with that, looks like we're seeing LiPang just be able to just keep wave clear and hold on around the dragon. We're seeing they're just hovering around the dragon, waiting for it to spawn and to punish BMG, because I know BMG is going to go for that rotate in. And BMG looks like they're not committing as much. Zenial getting kind of held up, or KO getting held up by Sukram, or Marcus rather, and
he's Sukram, it's fine.
He's
his 2 names.
4v2.
Oh!
Actually,
beautiful.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, it was...
Triumphs does go down, but hey, they might be able to take out Beginnings in the process. There's the Eagle Eye to finish off Beginnings. So a 1-for-1 trade is not a bad thing when the Dragon comes up there. LiPang is able to rotate in, and it'll be a 3v3 fight for the Dragon. It's not going to be an easy win for BMG.
So your screen did not glitch there. That was a flicker mid-wild charge. That is a move you can do if you are, if you're Baldwin.
Oh. Yeah, I think Beginnings actually told me about that specifically in Australia.
Yeah, no, he was... Yeah, well, I don't know. He was doing a lot of flicker shenanigans. There was like a weird kind of bug going on with flicker ult on Lumber. He was doing lots of flicker practice.
Yeah, he showed me some of the stuff like what you could do with Earthquake, whereas like you fired off Earthquake and then moved Lumber, and I think you had 2 hitboxes, like where the Earthquake showed up and where the Earthquake would have been where Lumber teleported to, and nice little wild charge there to finish off 80's hero in the mid lane too, opening things up.
Yeah, and that was even more impressive because they were able to get that off. They were able to do that with 80's hero having his ult up, which means they completely caught him off guard.
And with that, 80's hero is now back in the game. Mid lane, however, had to be held off by basically the rest of the team, and we're seeing BMG. They look like they're picking fights here. They're getting those jungle invades. Yeah,
there is a 3v4 though. I think they're just kind of feigning pressure. They have nothing else to do. It's like, we might as well just stand here and do stuff.
Yeah, no, bully away from the dragon. Hope for the best. It's going to be at least another minute before it comes back. So
and
go for that.
Yeah, and them forcing that. I mean, Yina had already pushed in this wave. And so, because they were able to force that, I think LiPang missed 1 melee minion, and that's like 60 gold. You know, you take whatever you can get.
Yep. That makes perfect sense. I mean, there's a roughly 1,000k gold lead for LiPang right now, so that's actually working out really well in their favor. Actually, they're doing a great job controlling the dragon right now.
Right. I'm trying to see where. So they did get the dragon obviously earlier. I'm trying to see where their advantages are in terms of gold. LiPang on Tell obviously it's 2.1, so he's leading the team. Zane is doing a perfectly decent job of farming. He has the most in the game despite being on the team with less gold.
I mean, that's one of those things where, like, Zane, if they get into a fight, it's going to be the main problem because the rest of LiPang, they're even out, but if any one of them dies, that massively reduces the damage, whereas I mean, if Zane dies, it's huge, but Zane's probably not going to die very easily, and he's going to probably take out 1 or 2 before then. The dragon coming in there, Zane going in for the kill, and does steal the dragon, in fact. But Beginnings falls in response. Same time, KZ Fox trying to go to get rid of LiPang, but Triumphs and Joker's Merc making sure that's not going to happen. Neo comes in, though, does get rid of Triumphs, but there's being a bro to save them. Tries to get rid of Triumphs, and KZ Fox finishes them off for real with a nice Reiki shot. And 80's hero tries to retreat, doesn't manage to do much. The Eagle Eye from LiPang to at least bully KZ Fox away from the tower, but that's forcing a retreat in the end of the fight.
You could tell Zhang didn't really want to commit too hard. He actually saved his ult until the very end because, you know, if he goes in with his ult early, he's fighting against 4, he immediately gets taken out. It was really good patient play there by Zhang, not trying to go too far in. I mean, obviously, he let his support die for him, but in the end, that's what you want as a team.
Yeah, that is the point of the support in a lot of ways, is to die. I mean, obviously, if you can avoid its death, that's fine. But if it dies, like, it kind of did its job. But speaking of which, though, that is not support. That is a jungler going down. Joker's Murph dying. Triumph's falling back. Marcus going to retaliate, try to hope for the best. Able to at least teleport out of there in the process, but that was risky. LiPang, ooh, so close.
So I picked up my drink with my right hand, and that's my mouse hand. And I had it hovered over the jungle. I figured that's where the fight was going to be. And then they started fighting under the towers over here, between the towers. What are they doing? They're trying to mess with me.
They are, but it's just the way that we've seen. I mean, both LiPang and BMG play recently. Is just go under the towers and really don't care. And we're seeing a lot of the mid tower being assaulted. Not sure it's going to go down. It looks like we are getting LiPang actually with the rotate. KZ Fox being punished for their hubris. Zane is going to be able to survive that, but that's still a nice kill coming in from LiPang.
That's kind of the result of having no real tower killers, and so KZ Fox thinking it's his responsibility to do so, and that didn't work out well for him.
Unfortunately, no. KO trying to hold on to the top tower, but LiPang not letting that go. Beginnings rotating in alongside Zane. There's that Wild Prison doing very little, and that means not much as Joker Smurf still goes down, and the rotation is successful. Triumphs at least recalls.
The distraction, there was 5 up top. That means that Neo's able to take 2 towers down in the mid. That's certainly worth it for them. So the Wild Prison, it looked weird, but it was a zoning Wild Prison, right? So he put it here in order to zone Joker away from getting out. And that means that Joker had to come back towards the tower. And that allowed for a wild charge to scoop him up near the tower, and then Zane finish him off. So the zoning ult actually worked this time. It wasn't a meme. It wasn't a joke. The zoning ult actually led to the death of Joker there.
It was real. But we're going to see that again. There's the wild charge coming in and getting rid of LiPang, just deleting them.
Yeah.
Neo going for a bit of an overextension, but there's managed to escape, and KO coming in to save the day. Again, BMG, there's their rotations coming in. It's been half rotation, half teleport to force back LiPang.
Yeah. Beginnings, he doesn't catch anyone with a wild person, but he had to force. He forced 2 flickers out at that moment. So, one 40-ish second ult for 2 120-second flickers. You'll take that.
Absolutely. So that's going to be 10 minutes into the game before we see another flicker coming in. That's probably going to put a little bit of a damper on LiPang's attempts to attack, and that means the dragon, that's basically free, on top of the fact that the towers are gone.
Yeah, and this is not necessarily a new dragon, but as of 4 or so months ago, 3 months ago, this dragon now gives the ability for better team fighting, a little bit of extra magic damage on all their attacks.
Yeah, that only happened when you got into the late game.
No, they changed it so that the early game does it as well.
Oh, cool. All right. Speaking of which, though, there we're seeing BMG use that exact advantage to come in, wipe out Triumph and LiPang, and basically at no cost of their own lives. Probably opening up that tower too, letting the minions just eat it.
LiPang is really trying to force the issue over on the side of Xeno, but he's just way too tanky to take out, and he's showing why that's not the greatest idea.
No, he's here, and Marcus trying to deal with this. Tides of Life comes in, but it's not nearly enough. There's the wild charge to just kill them. Just wipe them out.
Yeah. The LiPang, after an amazing game 1, they're kind of starting to fall apart here. They're trying to help each other out, but sometimes you got to let your teammates die. And it's really just stringing together deaths. And that's just led to towers that go down. And Darkslayer is going to the opposing team. Although this Darkslayer is 1v4ing like a boss.
It's doing its job, but doesn't quite manage to kill off Zane. However, back to the way LiPang, though, I mean, the thing is, we were talking last game about how Preda made LiPang have a much easier time clearing wave. and then managing to rotate in to deal with team fights. So they weren't able to quite take team fights as well, but they were at least able to maintain the macro. Whereas this game, after an advantage early on, LiPang is now 5k gold behind, which is much worse than it was in the previous match, where it never dipped below 2k, except the very, very end.
They're just being really stubborn about taking this top lane, and it's not worked, and they're like, no, we will make it work, and like, no, it's just not gonna work. I'm sorry. And that's kind of
just try to
led some trouble with them.
Just get back to farming.
Yeah,
basically.
They're having trouble. Like Neo and KO are just being extremely solid in the side lanes, and that's allowed for the rest of BMG to have this nice three-man rotation and get picks. And LiPang has had a hard time kind of matching that.
And I can just imagine LiPang is trying to think what they can do, because at this point, I mean, they're behind a couple levels all around. They're behind 5k gold. They got to be thinking, well, we don't want to lose our high ground towers, but maybe this game, like, I don't know if they're, how much they're thinking in terms of the next game, because there is going to be a next game. This is best of 5. So I'm kind of wondering how much of them right now is thinking, like, what can we do the next game to prevent this from happening?
Right. Well, they still have a chance to come back. Let's not sell them short.
They do. But there is going to be a third game regardless.
Right. But they need to really hunker down and start taking these waves, because, you know, the BMG doesn't have the greatest tower killing potential. If they're left alone, then Zill and Liliana can get in there and deal auto attacks, but they have to be melee range. But as far as having to kill towers while there are people defending, it gets a little bit more dicey. So if LiPang can put up a stalwart defense, then perhaps they can find their way back into this.
LiPang is close enough in terms of value, but it looks like BMG does not care. They're just going under tower. They're fight. They don't care about killing the towers. They don't care about killing the people under the towers. Triumph Smoke going down. There's Zane just ripping everyone apart. There goes LiPang. Triumph soon follow. Joker Smurf as well goes down. Marcus does do a pretty good job with the retaliate and forces back enough of BMG to open up the lanes, but it's still at the cost of their lives. And 80's hero, unfortunately, not able to get the water spirit to get that last kill. But hey, the tower lives.
That was a little bit deep by BMG. The entire team was inside the base with all high ground towers still up, but it worked in the end. They got a favorable trade kills.
I was expecting. I was about to say BMG is probably just going to dive in and not care about towers. Exactly what they did, taking the top tower as a result. The mid tower and bottom tower are so vulnerable. 80's hero is scrambling to try to do anything to make it stop, and I don't think they're even going to save the bottom tower from that. Nope, just barely, but it's one more tap by a catapult, or by a cannon, and that bottom tower is done.
By the way, we got a little glimpse of how these team fights will go going forward, as KZ Fox landed a Blinding Light, Shining Light combo onto the Sephora, and immediately took her down to 40% health. But as I say that, hi KZ Fox.
Yeah, well, hi KZ Fox, bye KZ Fox. See you in half a minute when you get back in here.
It could be big, though.
Looking for that roam.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it could be, actually, because LiPang in the roam, getting Zane caught out, KO teleporting in, but Zane still goes down. KO kind of on their own, beginning something to help support, but it's a 5-stack against KO. Zenial's tough, but not so tough as the last through a 5v1. That opens up the Dark Slayer and pushes back Beginnings. Them and Neo's the only one left, but Neo going for that side lane pressure despite all this, and is trying to go for the kill to prevent the Dark Slayer. 80's hero responding to that, and that does force Neo back, but the tower is still down.
Wild Prison coming through. Darkslayer still available. Oh.
And Darkslayer taken by LiPang.
Good effort by Beginnings. Couldn't quite get it done, but while all that was happening, you know, 2v5 situation, they delayed long enough for Neo to get a tower, and that means that the entire team's going to be back for defense.
They have to be. I mean, at this point, those minions are just going to be able to wipe in, take out the core directly if LiPang is not constantly clearing wave, which gives BMG all the time in the world to regroup. Yes, this layer was taken, but unfortunately this layer, unless the dragon is also taken, this layer is not going to be enough just with the Drake. But the dragon is actually going to go down. LiPang taking that as well, showing remarkably good map control at the very end of this.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, they took the dragon.
No, LiPang just died.
Just went for it.
No, LiPang just died.
Oh, LiPang themselves, yeah.
No, that's a dead LiPang.
That is a dead LiPang. That's a dead Smurf and Triumphs as well. Oh, never mind. Joker Smurf just barely gets out of there, but it's the being a bro is expended, so Triumphs cannot survive. Forced back. Everything's open to the mid tower is the last one to go down, and despite Marcus's best efforts with retaliation, it's not going to be enough to stop it. Marcus goes down to a wild charge, opens up the tower, and that is going to be an near impossible situation for Triumphs to save the day as they're getting distracted out from the main base.
Well, their distracting is allowing for LiPang to respawn, which means that this tower doesn't die. I think that BMG just assumed it was over, but they forgot that LiPang died quite a while ago. So they should probably focus.
Dying.
Well,
it's a well-timed death, LiPang.
Yeah, well, Smurfs, Joker's going to be up. They probably could have easily won the game if they didn't chase around Teamy, but that chase is still going on, by the way.
Yeah, KZ Fox just going at it, trying to make Triumphs have a hard time, and actually that's working out pretty well because Triumphs, they're distracting it. The rest of the team is coming in. So 1v3 against, or 3v2 against Neo and Beginnings. Xaniel coming in there, providing a little bit of healing, but it's still 4v3. Neo goes down for nothing. Triumphs did an amazing job of distraction. As now Zane's going to go get forced to retreat, possibly go down. Marcus able to take them out? Not quite. Zane able to escape, but just barely. They have to retreat. Triumph able to take out basically everyone else. KO and Zane are the only ones left, and KO desperately trying to escape. This is not going to happen. Another team fight going the way of LiPang.
What just happened?
LiPang turned it around because Triumphs just ran for an entire afternoon.
Where's the Benny Hill theme song when you need it?
It's called Yakety Sax. If you find it on YouTube, and I mean, I guess you get copyright strike, but that'll get you that.
We could just sing it. I love how you went for the entire song. There was no giving up. There was no like, oh, and that's how it goes, basically. Okay, never mind.
I'm done now.
Very well. Very good, I mean.
I feel like I just BM'd the players really bad at this point, though. Getting back to the game, though, LiPang is having a tough time. They've gotten to level 15. They've gotten gold essentially even, but now it's just a matter of how can they regroup to take these team fights, and they just can't. BMG is forcing them back off the core. If the core is just exposed, the large minions will be able to open it up, be able to let it get damaged. Wild Prison coming in there, isolating Marcus. They can't retaliate at all. The rest of the team is down. That's an ace. That's a core. That is BMG taking game 2. LiPang tries for the comeback, and BMG shuts them down.
That's a core indeed. Sorry, I had to say it. That's a base. That's a core. That's a game.
That's a hero. That's a screen.
That's a Morin.
That's a Morin. That's 2 Morins.
I'm seeing double. My analysis of other than the craziness at the end, Neo dominating LiPang is why the main reason why they were able to win that game.
Which is just the why you ban Yina. I don't know why Yina wasn't. People are pointing out Yina's not banned. It's like, I get Florentino scary, but maybe ban Yina. This is what happens. I mean, also Neo is just strong, but then again, Neo has so many games with Yina. It's like, maybe ban Neo's best character, and you don't lose your entire team to a character that basically is immune to CC.
Right, and the funny thing is that LiPang is apparently server's best Telenos, and yet he got completely styled on that game.
I felt like the Telenos didn't really have a chance to kite as well as they could have. Early game, there were several good Eagle Eyes. After that, though, everything just fell apart.
Yeah, and again, it was that weird situation in the mid game where they were adamantly trying to go for the top lane, and it just didn't work because KO held strong. And then there was a good rotation on Ganem. So
yeah, I mean, I appreciate LiPang was able to at least pull themselves back in. I think if they had managed to regroup, it would have been a bit of an easier time. But sadly, they didn't quite get in that team fight at the very end. I mean, Joker Smurf was way out of position. I mean, it was forced out of position. Very good map control by BMG, as I would expect.
Beginnings is asking for bottom lessons from Triumphs. Or offering them. I can't really tell which one it is.
Yeah, I think it's offer.
Anyway.
Well, I mean, now it's up to LiPang to get that first ban in there. If they're going to go for the Yina, going to go for the Probably not the ball, then I think they just take it instead, but nope. No Yinas.
No Yeezys. I mean Yinas.
No Yinas allowed. It's the No Yinas Club. Also the No Hayates Club, because that's how it goes.
Yep. No Yinas allowed. Where's that from? The No Dogs Allowed.
I'm blanking. It's a moderately obscure movie that I think people only know about because of, I think
it was a cartoon,
one
wasn't
of
it?
those reviews. It was a cartoon, but I don't recall it being a particularly big one. I think it was one of those ones that...
I get the feeling I watched it when I was... I get the feeling I watched it, like, in school. Like, I was a 6-year-old, and I was like, well, that's dumb.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, one of those weird obscure things that people only really know about because of internet review shows.
Yeah.
And Cafney being the first pick, so that's... I mean, as I've mentioned on my side, Cafney is pretty much a 100% ban pick, in my experience. Absolutely 100% ban pick.
It was also 100% ban pick. Is Maganga, of course.
Yeah, 100% ban pick trolling. That's for sure. Oh, I think... No, Maganga was actually legit banned last game, weren't they?
Sorry?
Wasn't Maganga actually legitimately banned last game? No, I must have missed...
No.
I must have misread the icon.
Yeah, no. Whoever it wasn't Maganga.
Yeah, I was thinking, that can't be right. No one bans or picks Maganga. Sorry, Maganga mains who are watching, but Maganga doesn't typically get played at this level.
I'm not sorry.
I try to be nice.
Here's where
does get played, though.
Here's where I put my tier list and say, hey, the only reason why he's in tier 3 in the latest tier list that debuted yesterday is literally because people... he's so bad that he's able to win games because people underestimate him in the early game, and that's when he's best. They're like, oh, this is Magong, and they try to fight him. And it's like, that's literally the only time he can win games is the early game.
Like, poisoned to death.
Yeah. And it's like, what are you doing? Just literally just don't fight him for like 1 minute. Just hold off for a little bit, and you can just kill him the rest of the game. It's like, but no, you had to fight him, and now he's just like killing everyone.
Yeah, that's not the way to go, I'm afraid. So, at any rate, we are not going to see Magong. We're going to see Malik in the Flash or Malik and Sephira. Much more standard picks in the meta.
Malik Sephira,
absolutely worth it.
A lot of times is a mid combination, and not in the way some people might think who are watching this for the first time, or watching professionals for the first time. It's actually Malik mid, and then Sephira support, and it's very annoying for the opposing team.
It's one of those things you don't really expect, but Malik has such huge range in their attack, they can easily hold mid lane, and they're quite tanky. And then Sephira, you have Tides of Life, and... I mean, she's already kind of a halfway support to begin with. And then you have the fact that her Wall of Water is a great CC option. Again, kind of already halfway into support as it is.
Yeah.
So just build a rock and go for it.
Essentially, Malik and Sephira don't take any damage as a couple, and then they deal lots of damage to the opposing team.
Just power couple.
Yeah, we're not who you'd expect to be together.
Well,
it's kind of a Beauty and the Beast situation.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was more of an angel-demon situation.
Is Sephira an angel?
I don't know. I thought she was. She kind of has this weird angelic look to her.
I have no idea about the lore, other than, like, Wisp is Morn's, like, daughter-in-law. That's all I know.
Oh. That's not what it... Wait, so Wisp is married?
No. Daughter-in... No. Not daughter-in-law, sorry, stepdaughter. Or, like...
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Adopted daughter or something like that.
Right, okay.
Sorry, words are
like,
hard.
Wisp is a little young to be married, I would think.
Hey,
you can't tell, but...
They just drew her that way. It's like anime.
Yeah. She's not young, she's just drawn that way.
Yeah.
Well, then you get situations where the characters are drawn young and they actually are young, and it's just... It's kind of disorienting.
Anyway.
I thought they were 25. Nope. They're 700 years old. But yeah, back to the draft, though. Mostly meta stuff. Zepha's being the main one, I'd say, is... Well, Zepha's and Richter both being the main ones that I'd say are pretty important.
Oh, oops. I didn't show the draft for a while. It's okay. It was it was a secret. We were trying to get chat to guess what the draft was going to be. Sorry, chat.
That's our bad. Sorry about that.
No, don't apologize. It was intentional.
Thankfully, well, we didn't see much of. We didn't lose much of it. I mean, you can see the band's picks here, so. Yeah, we have Yeoman and Darcy being pulled in, and Darcy. I feel like Darcy just. I haven't checked the tier list yet for pimping, but I feel like Darcy's probably one, maybe. It seems like the way people play with him. If I had to guess.
Sorry, say that again.
Well, Darcy has been played somewhat, but I feel like since the nerfs, they haven't really been that common. They come up from time to time, but it's like a backup's backup. Is that... Am I onto something here?
I still don't know what point you're trying to make.
That Darcy isn't as strong as they were, at least in the Valor series. I mean,
yeah.
Over strong there, but I mean, it feels like it's surprising to see them played now.
I wouldn't say surprising. I think, but you're not gonna. Like Darcy is one of several strong options, but they're never like the top picks. Like with Florentino Hayate, he's not in the category of Florentino Hayate, Tulin, Yina, Richter, Timi Ballum, and Cafferty.
Right.
Yeah. After that, he's kind of in the next tier, for lack of a better term. Professional wise, I think still on like ladder, you just point and click and everyone's dead.
Yeah, I know one good dimensional cube and you basically wiped out everybody and wiped out a couple towers. And it's like no one cares. You're just dead. The last coming in is Tara, so we have
4 junglers. Let's go.
Yeah.
4 punishes.
Definitely could be. Well, okay, not Tara, but
they back in the day you could have 3 heroes with punish. 2 on the side lane and 1 in the jungle, but not since they moved the maximum stacks from 15 to 30. That's kind of impossible. You're not going to get your money's worth. You could run punish still just to be annoying to the other team, just for the utility of it, but not to actually build.
You're not going to get frostbite.
Yeah. So I was wondering what they're going to do with this. Zane is actually playing Yoma in the jungle. No, they switched. Okay, I was gonna say Zane is like the best Lindis in the world, or like up there. So I was wondering what they're gonna do with that. Neo ends up being the marksman or the pseudo marksman in Yoma in the abyssal lane. This is what you do a lot when you have Lindis in the jungle. Is you pick Yoma or a hero who can be flexible in that abyssal lane. KO obviously on Owen in the Darkslayer, and then Darcy for that mid lane.
Yeah, on the other side, we've got Malik. We already said Malik Zephyr as that mid lane support with Cavani Vera's. Well, Vera's obviously going to be Slayer lane, but I'm kind of curious what's happening with Cavani because I've seen some Cavani play where it seems like it's support Cavani and then Cavani just goes ham, or Cavani tank and then Cavani just goes ham.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Almost like okay, maybe you didn't see them. I think it was mostly teams like Mango who'd run like Cavani Teamy or Cavani Aram. And then just go absolutely just wreck their opponents with the 2-stack, just going around the map with Cafney tearing everyone apart. And not getting hit.
That's just...
Had the support or had the...
You could have just said Cafney and just period, and that's...
Really?
What
okay.
she does.
Because I found Cafney... It seemed like Cafney would die if she didn't have that support. Like, immediately just die.
Yeah, I suppose. And Sephora isn't quite as good of a support to keep Cafney alive. But they don't really have...
No.
There's not a great way to dive onto her. Neo can pinwheel and Wailing Blade. He's gonna try to get the Wailing Blade now. Gets Naginata. Oh, he misses it.
Impale.
He gets a Naginata Jutsu, but he misses the Wailing Blade. So that is unfortunate for Neo.
Yeah,
every Wailing Blade is like a quarter of her health, so it's a big deal when he misses.
Yeah, I wonder if she has Pulse Shot up too. Because if she has Pulse Shot, that could completely reverse the stakes. Or not reverse the stakes, reverse the situation. Then there's Triumph. We're getting Sephora Cafney. That's exactly what I was talking about. As we're seeing LiPang come in here, takes out Neo with nice opening, possibly be able to damage that tower a touch, provide some pressure.
That was weird because I definitely don't think that Neo was expecting Triumphs to have level 2 already. That water wall came out of nowhere. He's like, what? Yo, we have water wall? What's going on? I haven't cleared my wave yet.
No, it's not just spirits. We have water wall. We have blocks. We have we have the entire team just rotating in here. LiPang just going, you know what? Forget it. We're just gonna play BMG's game, rotate around the map, take the towers. That does leave Marcus wide open but they aren't really being attacked. It does, however, leave the mid lane wide open, and that is being attacked.
They just took down a tower pre-130.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they took out a tower super early. I don't even understand how... Like,
BMG had turned to a solo queue team. They're turning to a solo queue team, BMG. And then KZ Fox just walked over and he's like, anything going over here? I didn't any of you guys around here? And he just dies to 4.
I mean, BMG will probably regroup in the next few minutes. So at this point, LiPang basically just has to keep applying this pressure. Because I don't know how used to this BMG is. And this is actually really good practice for them, though. Because, I mean...
Maybe that, yeah, some purpose. They're falling behind, see if they can come back, yeah.
Although the innings does go down. And that's not ideal. That does open up that tower on the bottom lane again.
So,
but I was also saying, I'm mistaken, the international play, the Eastern Asian play, do they still do the roam stack style? Because as I recall, started with them.
What do you mean by roam stack? Sorry, my
like the way LiPang is playing right now, where you're basically going in as a team, taking out objectives as a team, like rotating around the map, not really staying in lanes. That's what BMG does a lot. Something LiPang is doing this game, and it was one thing I was thinking about, like, will BMG be able to deal with a team that's doing that? And it looks like they're having a bit of a tough time. They're not falling behind too far, but LiPang is finding momentum.
Well, the momentum's going back in the BMG side right now. There's the portal. Good night, LiPang.
Good night, sweet princess.
Neo? Why?
Oh, Neo falling down revenge, so that's at least something. But 80's hero can't really do much. Going for that shock. Opens things up, gets beginnings out. Not a bad shot there at all, but Zane is going to be completely wrecking anybody that gets too close, especially with that HP.
That was surprisingly sloppy. I don't know why Neo decided to pinwheel in when he saw 3. That put him in a lot of trouble. A lot of times you just pop your other abilities, Wailing Blade and Spectral Lyre, and then use a pinwheel to get out. And by pinwheeling in, he basically had no escape, so he was destined to die. And then the being a bro from beginnings was way too late, and not even in range, I don't think. And then that allowed him to die as well. But
right, and
despite all that, despite being down 6-3 in kills, despite being down in Abyssal, the gold is very close.
And that is the thing we saw last game too, is that LiPang was able to maintain an advantage, get fairly good position, and then BMG started to find their feet and pull the way back in. And it looks like now LiPang starting not quite sure where to go with rotations into the mid-game. Dragon going over to BMG as a result.
Well, it could be. Here comes a shock.
Shock comes in there. Dragon is being possibly stolen. LiPang going for the pressure, but Neo's able to take it from behind. Pinwheel's out of there to save their own life, and that should be a perfect retreat. Joker Smurf goes down to... No, Joker Smurf doesn't go down, what am I saying? Actually, no, do. Go down to the dimensional portal.
Yeah, the portal pushed him back. And KZ Fox was able to get in there and get the kill by portaling in himself. Being a bro keeps him alive, and they're still fighting this one out.
They are triumphs, however, quite low, and without that extra support, the Wall of Water, the Tides of Life is not up right now. So triumphs can't safely do this. Looks like they're coming in here just relying on the cooldown to save them before that goes down, and there's the Wall of Water to at least provide a little bit of pressure while the tower does go down, thanks to LiPang's Caphany.
Yeah, a little bit more sloppiness coming out from BMG. Everyone went back to heal, and LiPang saw that, and they're like, oh, we could just take this tower now. And then KZ Fox said, oh, darn, I have to actually stay here. And then he was low enough that he kind of just had to poke from afar, and that allowed him to take the tower.
Well, there's a strong position coming in for LiPang as a result, but then this bottom tower, Marcus trying to save it, but there's Zane and KO just providing sheer AD, not letting that go, and at the same time, Beginning's coming in there, letting Zane get that kill, taking out the Veras. So without Marcus, without the Veras, there's not a whole lot blocking off that top lane for the next 15 seconds.
You don't expect the flank from the teamie. Just came in there and finished off that kill when they were extremely low.
I mean, you don't expect a lot from teamie, and Beginnings delivers all of the things. But, yeah. I mean, they had to ban that Yuna, so... Yeah, you can only make so many choices.
Can only make so many choices, indeed.
Looks like mid lane is where BMG's deciding, you know, we're gonna reverse this completely. I mean, they're already gotten the advantage, but now just going straight in, 5v1 and 80-0, take out that mid tower. Same time, bit of a split push from well, not from split push, but split check from Zane. Making sure no one's around as the dragon is about to come back up. Most of LiPang looks ready to take it.
I can't believe it's
Go for it,
6:30. I can't believe we're only 6:30 into the game. We have this many towers down and this much happening with this many kills. This feels like it should be the 10-minute mark.
It does feel that way. LiPang has pushed this very aggressively, and I like it. It's working out for them quite well. I mean, granted, BMG has managed to pull this back, but I feel like LiPang does have a stronger early game. If they want to win this, they are going to have to win it quick. If they let BMG get any macro advantage, then that's when BMG shines. And we're starting to see that a little bit. If Zane goes down, though, that could be a major difference. Sukum tries to go for basically everything, finds nothing. Shot comes in there. 80 does not do much. At the same time, we do see Triumphs do quite a lot. Kind of nice little water spears there to finish it off.
That was a crazy fight. It started off with Zane being a little bit sloppy and not using his vision to check the bush, which meant he was suddenly in a bush with Caffney. Caffney chunked him down very quickly, and then Zane all of a sudden didn't want any part of that fight, which means his entire team had to run away, and that led to Neo being the last one out of there and not able to get out of there in the end.
Well, that is going to be a nice little bit of recovery possibly for LiPang. They are only 2K goal behind, but we saw this before. We have seen this movie, and it did not end well for LiPang last time, but this time it does feel like there's that portal coming in there, but it does not kill 80. Chunks them down enough to be a problem. Triumphs with the Tries of Life to heal them up. There's another dimensional cube to try to come in there. Traps coming in down on top of that from Zane, but an escape is secured.
The poke from KZ Fox is immense. He has the enchanted, not enchanted, he has the flashy boots for 15% cooldown reduction, and then another 10% from the apocalypse. So 25% cooldown reduction. He's able to just throw out these dimensional walks and cubes constantly, and he gets the extra. His empowered attacks are empowered even further by the apocalypse, and obviously by the Spoofy's mask. So every single time now he auto someone with dimensional walk, it's painful.
Yeah, it's like half, third HP. Especially Caffney that goes down there. LiPang dropping very rapidly to the exact thing we're talking about here. And that's going to open things up, get rid of the dragon. So another dragon goes down to BMG as they're now taking out that bottom lane, opening up the second wave bottom tower. And trying to find a kill here. It looks like rotation coming from KZ Fox. I don't think they care about rotations. Like you were saying, D2, KZ Fox just needs to get those dimensional walks.
Yeah, and he's just putting so much pressure on that... They're paying attention to him and it's allowing Zane to go right back into his jungle. I want to talk about that fight that just happened where Zane was just charging in onto Caffney and while taking tons of damage as well. He knew that Beginnings had his back. Beginnings actually popped being a bro when Zane was at about 30% health, and that was not a mistake. He certainly respects the damage coming out from Caffney. We're having another skirmish here.
And they should too, as 80 does jump in here, does manage to save Triumphs at the cost of their own life. Whether the retreat happens is yet to be seen. Looks like the jungle's still being taken. The red buff does go over to LiPang as they're clearly preparing for defense on the mid tower.
Well, I don't know if they're even going to try to jump in on this. It looks like they're just setting up to clear the minion wave so they can go for the Dark Slayer, or or at least fake the Dark Slayer so they can go for a nice little bush party, good old-fashioned bush party, potentially.
And the Dark Slayer, you're right the first time, D2. It is indeed the Dark Slayer's Triumphs. Joker Smurf LiPang coming in to try to intercept this. Looks like does do its job. Scares away BMG. They don't want to quite go for that yet.
BMG are trying to go for a little bit of a poke battle. The only thing that can really poke on the side of LiPang is Caffney. KO. Hello? KO.
Oh,
okay.
What the heck?
He just waltzed in there and took the tower. He's like, thank you very much. Meanwhile, 80 goes down the bot. Yeah,
80 was going in a 1v2 at the time, and that did put them in a bad spot. There's LiPang with the Fusillade, softening their opponents a touch, but that's going to not lead to too much. Zane and KZ Fox decide, well, okay, take jungle.
Yeah, you could just see that the poke is really starting to weigh heavily on LiPang. Just so much damage coming out from KZ Fox, and anytime they try to jump on KZ Fox, Zane is there for even more damage. We might have another skirmish here, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant by BMG is just going to win the late game. Because they have the characters that shine late game, and they have the approach that shines late game. Not that LiPang doesn't, but LiPang is behind on gold, and they are behind on overall map control. So getting to that late game is proving to be a bit of a problem. You mentioned before, D2, how this match is really fast, and we're at the 11-minute mark now. It's starting to feel like the 11-minute mark again. The match has kind of slowed down a bit as BMG has locked down most of the map. The shot coming in there, though. Zane going down, or 80 goes down. Zane did not. And attempts from him from Marcus to try to make that happen, along with Triumph's Tides of Life. Never met Wall of Water there. Does actually, however, still manage to get rid of Beginnings. Doesn't quite Wall of Water Zane, and Zane nearly kills him in the process.
Zane is so fast that he just is able to heal up before the water wall even, or the water spirit even got to him. Didn't even feel it.
Now, Neo did go down.
Oh my god.
Oh. Beginning's going down as well, but KO coming in a bit of revenge, taking out Triumphs. And Zane and KO have a massive opening. This could be game. Joker Smurf forced to retreat. And that's them and 80 the only one's going to be left to actually defend this core. And it looks like BMG does not have the confidence, only running 2 players into here. Can't say I blame them, but that's still a very intimidating position.
So in the past, Zane would be able to just rush down this Dark Slayer, but that's not the case right now. And I do like that change, because that would have been a little bit cheap to just waltz back in and take that Dark Slayer. So now it's a little bit more difficult these days. And that means that it gives LiPang a little more chance.
So you deal less damage to the Dark Slayer and Dragon when you fight one of them, like when they damage you?
It's both. They increase they increase the reduced damage and reduce armor.
Ah. Well, speaking of increasing damage, Marcus goes down to a massive amount of damage coming in here.
Goodbye.
As the entire team of BMG goes in, 80 goes down on top of that, and Joker Smurf tries to tornado in and does manage to get a kill, but no, never mind. Being a bro saves it, so that is going to be it. BMG opens everything wide. All they're waiting on is the wave to come in here, and Triumph's holding the line as best they can, doing their best in the fountain, getting some walls of water, but they get taken out by KZ Fox. That is going to be it. The core is going to go down. This is Game 3, going to BMG, and they take first place for the VanSticker War of Gods tournament.
Congratulations to BMG, this week-long tournament. They take it down. Very well played by them throughout, and well played in this game as well. That was a tale of like 3 or 4 different games. It was very strange. It started out with taking the bottom tower. I didn't even have enough time to remark on the fact that towers actually have increased defense pre 3 minutes. So you're kind of not advised to do something like that. But it ended up working out.
The idea is you have well, partly that and partly the minions. I mean, they had the minions, but still, it's just a 3-stack on the tower. They just went, you know what? We don't care. Yeah. We can kill it.
And
we can kill anyone who tries to stop
they were just picking on Neo, picking on KZ Fox, but BMG said, well, there's nothing we can do, really. If we try to rotate, it's just playing into your guys' hands. So we're just going to clear the mini waves, and that kept them close enough to where once they started getting a couple kills, they actually reversed the gold advantage, even though they were down 3 or so kills.
Which is something that we saw in the second game as well, where BMG just went from having a slight disadvantage to overwhelming lead by a few well-placed kills and some really well-placed map control. Again, that is BMG's strength by far, and I'm really eager to see how that pans out during the World Cup.
The World Series of AOV. Anyway, but yeah, and so then after that happened, BMG have that gold lead. Then the game kind of slows down a bit, and you see Zane with 40% damage, but that really came in fits and bursts. It wasn't like he was doing damage the entire time. You can see he had a full build. He was just farming the entirety of that game. He had 3,000 more than even his mid teammate in KZ Fox, and KZ Fox seemed like he was doing a decent amount of damage the entire time as well. But KZ Fox was almost like a distraction in the end, right? He was just throwing out these dimensional walks, made it seem like they needed to jump on him, and when they tried, Zane is like, "You forgot about me."
Hey, wait a sec! Like, I'm the assassin.
Yeah.
Don't forget, I'm here to kill you.
Yeah, and just throwing out damage left and right. Beginnings was really on point with the Being a Bros too. There was a couple times where it seemed like it was a bit off, but you could definitely see the reasoning behind popping up Being a Bro when Zane was at 40% health, because Caffney was doing quite a bit of damage as well.
It paid off, though. There was several Being a Bros that did actually have a resurrection effect.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly not on Zane. Zane was usually fine, but I think it saved KO once. I think it saved Neo once. It was...
Well, the deterrent factor as well, right? You force the opposing team away because you know that they're just going to resurrect.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what happens when you give Zane Lindis.
But he's like, either give Zane Lindis or give Zane Yina.
Or give Neo Yina, yeah.
Both, but then you give them Florentino, and it's still fairly strong.
Yep. All right. I think
All right.
we're done.
I believe so. So thank you to all of you for watching. Thanks to Shells for hosting this whole tournament series. Congratulations to BMG for their $50 iTunes card each and skins of their choice. And congratulations to LiPang, second place, but that's still $25 iTunes card and a cheap skin.
Very nice. Well done. Again, thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you tune in to the AWC, which starts in 2 weeks, and we'll be featuring BMG in a group in which they could potentially get out in third, maybe second place if they beat some of these wildcard teams. It'll be up to them to see if they can upset some of the powerhouses, Thailand, Taiwan, Vietnam. I'll be their
It'll be interesting to see. They're representing basically everything outside of Eastern Asia.
Yep. Southeast Asia, Eastern Asia, yeah. Anyway, that'll be it for us. Any last words before you die on the cast?
Any last words? Well, it was fun, but I hoped I was do more.
All right. Anyway. Goodbye, guys.